Hi, Seth David here on a Friday, April 23rd, 2010. And first of all, don't forget, we have the webinar coming up on this Monday, the 26th, I guess that makes it. And we're going to be showing you how to unwrap your P&L and balance sheet into what I like to refer to as a storybook view. We're going to look at it in a way that I'm going to show you how to do in a few clicks in QuickBooks. And I'm going to show you how to read and interpret those numbers and use the information presented in that manner in order to make decisions, make determinations about how your business is operating and what happens at different periods of time, and use that information and show you how you can use that information to make important decisions about where you want to go with your business. And you can plan and project and do lots of things to make sure that things run as smoothly as possible. And that was separate aside. That was a long segue, wasn't it? Anyway, what I really wanted to talk about was a blog post I put up yesterday. I want to expand on it. And it's about relationships, because I think a lot of us spend a lot of time thinking about, especially if we have our own businesses, we think about how much money we want to make, how much profit, is the business profitable, and if you're a public company, it's all about earnings and, book value per share and net income per share and expected earnings versus actual when they come out. That kind of stuff literally drives the price of stock in a company. As the analysts say, we're expecting to make X number of dollars. And it really doesn't even matter whether or not the company actually makes money. It really matters how the company actually did in comparison with expectations. If they meet expectations, nothing much happens. Nobody gets excited. If they exceed expectations, everybody wants to buy the stock. And if they fall short of expectations, people start selling. I mean, that's the basic formula, and it can be applied in probably most cases. So there's a lot of focus in business on money and numbers. And what I want to talk about is where, especially for a smaller business, not a publicly traded company so much necessarily, although I'm sure you'll agree when I say that it applies there too, without a doubt. But really what we want to focus on is relationships. We want to build relationships, and we want to have good relationships. And when I think about relationships, I think about what goes on. What are the dynamics between me and somebody I'm working with, and what can I do to make that relationship flourish, to sort of water that relationship? What can I do to make it grow? And there are some relationships that I find, no matter what I do, they're just not going to grow. It's going to be constant animosity, and I have to ask myself, is this a relationship worth pursuing? Is this a relationship that I really want to invest time and energy into? Or wouldn't it be better to go take that time and energy, because I only have so much in a given day, and invest it into a relationship where there are some results, where I get a return on my investment? You talk about a return on your investment in terms of money, but there's also a return on investment in terms of relationships, because that's what we're putting in. We wake up every day with, I don't know what units describe it, but let's just call it X number of kilowatts of energy, right? I wake up in the morning, and depending how much sleep I've had the night before and how I've been sleeping overall, I have a set amount of energy for the day. At some point, I'm going to conk out by the end of the day if I keep going and going and going. So I have a limited amount of energy, just like I have a set amount of dollars in the bank. So I have to think of it almost the same way. I'm going to invest that energy into something, and I want a return for it. I want to get something back for it. So if I invest energy into a relationship with somebody, for example, I talked about in the blog post, who's narcissistic, then I'm not going to get much back from that person out of the relationship. I'm constantly going to be putting in, and it's never going to be enough. And that person's never going to acknowledge any part in things that go on. So if something goes wrong, it's always going to be all my fault, and I'm going to find myself trying to work constantly to please this person and never getting there. And that's not a relationship that's worth putting my time and energy into, especially when I know it's so limited. What I really want to do is cut those relationships off, get them out of my life. There's no room for them. Life is way too short for me to be investing time and energy into that kind of a relationship. Rather, I want to invest my time and energy into a relationship with somebody who's going to give me something back, who's going to appreciate the time and energy I put in. Even when I make a mistake, and I do, we all make mistakes. You're an idiot if you think you don't ever make mistakes. And I don't think there's anybody who disagrees with that is probably a narcissist. So the point I want to make is, I want to invest my time and energy into relationships where the time and energy that I invest is appreciated. Money aside, forget the money. Who cares about the money? My experience is that when you focus on the relationships and build and develop good relationships, the money comes because those people that I have those good relationships with are more than happy to pay me for my time, because they know I'm doing a good job and they know I'm putting everything I've got into it and making sure that I'm doing the best possible job. And yes, if I make a mistake, I will acknowledge it, I will own up to it, and I will make good on it. And of course, I won't charge somebody to fix my own mistakes. But I want to make the point that we need to choose very carefully who we spend our time with. And you'll see me writing probably more and more about this stuff, not so much directly related to the accounting and bookkeeping that I do, but more about the philosophy, about building the kind of business that I have built, and why I've done the things I've done, and why I've dismissed many clients. I've dismissed probably more clients than I've kept, for sure more clients than I've kept, because I didn't feel the relationship was right. Because I would rather make less money but only work with the people I really enjoy working with. I could have probably had 3 times the business today, but I would have been completely stressed out and miserable. So is it worth it? Is that the kind of experience I want to have going into every day, stressed out and worried about who's going to be calling, screaming, and yelling at me because they want more than I can give? So it has to be a proper balance. Of course, I need to earn a living, I need to provide for my family, and I do. So for me, it's more a matter of being very discriminating, not working with anybody and everybody who walks in my door, but really working with people where I feel I can be of maximum benefit, because they're going to be people who are going to actually engage with me, not throw a bowl of oatmeal at me and say, here, go pick that up for me, but rather sit with me and work with me, and in this way I can find out, what are your goals? What do you want to do? Where do you want to go today? That was some company slogan, I think maybe Microsoft. But the point is, I want to be very choosy, because then when I get it chiseled down to just the people where the relationship is right, then I can do so much. I can do so much good for people, and I can really be of maximum service. And I'd rather be very helpful to a few people than a little helpful to a lot of people. Have a great Friday. Have a great weekend. I hope you all enjoy. And if no one else told you this today, I love you.